right, troops. Welcome to the Action Elite. My name is Owen. So tonight, the long-awaited stream has arrived, where we're finally going to be talking about Conan, and I might as well not waste any more time. And I'm just going to bring in J-Man.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. This is your stream is finally here. I'm just going to basically
Wow.
sit quietly and just let you do all the talking. And then we got Charlie.
I'm getting my notebook ready for J-Man and all the information we're going to get dropped.
Oh yeah,
on
yeah.
today.
We're all about to be schooled.
Yeah, I'm going to just write down all of the stuff I didn't know about Conan.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So before we start, a couple things going to go over. So I finally got the Vinegar Syndrome 4K of Roadhouse, which arrived, but it's huge. It's like big, heavy, thick thing. It's not like a normal like Blu-ray case.
But does it get like a booklet or something in it?
Yeah, it like opens up like so. Right?
Oh hell yeah!
So,
damn it! I already got like 3 versions of this movie. I don't need another version. That is awesome.
Where's the fucking thing? There you go. Yeah,
there it is.
And then booklet there too.
See, I would want the booklet. That's what.
Yeah, you see, so do I. So now, funny story is, I arrived the other day, and I was like, oh, this box is quite heavy. And opened up, and there were 2 copies in there, and I was like, oh shit, that's why it's so expensive, because I was like paid like $80, and I thought it was just the postage and packaging. I was like, oh, whatever, that's fine. And I realized there was 2, and I was like, I know who'll want this. Message you and hey, Jay, Roadhouse on your new 4K player. He's like, hell yes.
That's what because I only had the DVD of it. I realized I went back and checked. I'm like, I have my list on me all the time, so I'm like, I only have DVD. I'm like, oh yeah, I need that. And those editions are amazing. I've got Beastmaster in that same packaging.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that. I'd like to get that.
That's a good one. And I got Cloak and Dagger in that same packaging as well.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, that's all. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm going to try maybe watching it tomorrow night or over the weekend, and I'll do a review on the site next week. So
tell us how good Roadhouse is, or how good it looks.
Roadhouse.
It's
5 stars. Or it's going to be 5 stars. We never knew that. That's not a big surprise. So, and next up, we got the Indiana Jones trailer and the Dial of Destiny this week. Now, on one hand, I've seen James Mangold coming out on Twitter and saying that all the stuff that Doomcock and all these people said is nonsense, and I'm like, well, I hope so, because if it's not, your tweets are going to age really badly, and you'll lose all credibility. But it's James Mangold.
Cough, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, exactly. But James Mangold, I respect as a director. He's done great movies, like Logan, 3:10 to Yuma. So I do trust in him. I mean, the trailer itself was quite CG heavy, unfortunately. I'm I hate CG, particularly in like an Indiana Jones movie. Like the original 3 were before the days of CG, which is why they were the great ones. But I don't know. Are you guys like looking forward to it, or are you just sort of skeptical?
I'm skeptical of everything that happens because it's all crap. I'm a recast guy. Indiana Jones is one of my heroes. I want to be an archaeologist. Even in first year university, I was still going to do archaeology. And then I was like, I could just make movies about archaeology and write stories. So then I got out of it. But Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Raiders are like my top 20 favorite films of all time. I don't like Last Crusade as much. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's that great. Mostly because Sean Connery makes fun of Indiana Jones and like kind of berates him a lot, and he's my hero. So I was like, I don't like that this is happening.
That is the whole point of that story. There was between the bad relationship with his father. Otherwise, there would be nothing going on. Yeah,
I understand that, but it doesn't mean I like it.
It doesn't mean
I understand why they're doing it, but I don't like that it's happening.
Just wait to see this new one. You know it's going to be her belittling him all the way through. You just know that's going to happen.
They should have recast. He's a pulp serial character who exists in a certain time period of the 40s. That's when the pulp stories are always taking place. This is where you get these serial movies. They're all from that time period. The next movie after Harrison Ford didn't want to do it anymore would have been a new guy, and everyone would be like, oh, this isn't as good as Harrison Ford, blah, blah, blah. And then they would have gotten over it, and then we would have 400 Indiana Jones movies, and there would be 5 actors who played him, and we'd all say, well, Harrison was still the best Indiana Jones, but this guy's pretty good, and this one looks good. Now
it's like Connery. Connery will always be the best Bond, but we like the other ones too.
Sure. Yeah. So there's lots of people who like Roger Moore better, and Honor Majesty is my favorite Bond movie, so there you go.
Yeah, there we are.
I mean, Daniel Craig's pretty high up there. I kind of like that guy. It's cool.
You shut your face.
Where's Charlie? I can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, apparently my microphone is gone.
From the stream.
Whoops.
No. All right. Anyway, so that was just a lot of stuff nonsense I want to talk about beforehand. But now let's get into the whole point of this stream is Conan the Barbarian. Now, for the longest time, I've always called it Conan, and I say Conan, but really in the movie it's Conan.
Conan, yeah.
It is Conan, yeah. So, so yeah, I've watched all the Conan movies over the past week just to refresh them, because believe it or not, I haven't seen them that much. Like the first time I saw Conan the Barbarian at your house, yeah. And the first couple of times I've watched, I think I've watched it maybe 4 or 5 times by now, and it's really grown on me now. And now I actually do love it, because at first I was like, oh, this movie's kind of boring, and it's a bit slow. And yeah, it still is, but there probably isn't a single scene I would cut out from it. It's all necessary. Like we were discussing earlier, I love the fact that it doesn't look like a fantasy world. It all looks kind of real, like it could actually happen. Any movie that has camels being punched has to be worth watching. Arnie is perfectly cast. I mean, for the time period, it's hard to find anybody else who could have been so good as Arnie. Even like with the remake, which we'll get to with Jason Momoa, like he was actually good in the role, and I liked him. But Arnie's Conan, it's hard to let go of that. There's certain characters you just can't let go of. So, yeah, I love the movie. But one thing you mentioned before, J-Man, now this isn't your cue just yet. We've got Charlie to speak first,
I'm last.
And then you're last, and then we'll let you take over.
All right.
But you mentioned before that they released a crap Blu-ray of it, and it's like different. What's wrong with it? Because I only have it. Well, I used to have it on DVD. Funny story, I did have it on DVD, and then I gave them away to Goodwill, and thinking I still was going to be getting it on Blu-ray or 4K, and it's not out in 4K yet. And I was like, oh shit, I don't actually own the Conan movie, so hopefully they'll come on 4K soon.
Okay,
anyway, so yeah.
This so out of the Conan Destroyers, this is the Chinese one for Destroyer. This is the best one. It has good features, and it's all region. Okay.
Yeah.
But I also have this one, which is the American release. These two.
Yeah.
Chinese release and American release. The American release removes the scene where him and Subotai talk about the wild blueberries and all that. So it's like that was like an awesome scene that they added in. This one has the scene back in it, but there's a part after Conan rises back from the dead where she says that she'll pay the gods. He comes back and he's contemplating the riddle of steel versus what his father told him versus what Thulsa Doom told him, where it's the hand that wields it. So he's doing his motions and he looks at his hand and he's like, yeah, it's like maybe it is me, it's my hand, I'm the riddle. But there's music there. That music does not play. So the best Blu-ray is the Chinese version. Okay, that's the best Blu-ray.
So but it's an extended edition. Okay,
it's the extended. But the best DVD, the best version of Conan is this, which is a DVD.
Yeah,
it has the full scene reinstated, and it has, because the American Blu-ray removes the scene where him and Subotai, right before the Battle of the Mounds, they're talking about life. He's like, I was just a boy of 4 or 5. I went to the forest with my father. That's eliminated. But that was brought back for this edition. And this edition also has the proper ending, and it has the princess guiding him through the mountain of power. When he goes to kill Thulsa Doom at the end, the princess guides him through, and she distracts the guards as he takes them out, and he goes up to the top. That was eliminated from the original theatrical cut.
Oh, I've never seen that. I've never seen that version.
Yeah. So this is the best Conan, or this one. And it also came out in, I buy every version that comes out, no matter what it is, I rebuy it. This version also has that scene, but it's a double disc. So it gives you this and Destroyer.
Okay.
So that's the best version of Conan. That so far has not come out on Blu-ray. So the best one you can get right now is the Chinese one, which has the scenes. All the scenes are intact. Just the music is missing. But Basil Poledouris is like an effing master. So missing any bit of his music is a disgrace. However, you want Blu-ray, you're going to have to take that one. And I've got the VHS copy, which is off screen here. So that's my Conan shelf. The VHS copies the VHS copy doesn't have her guiding him through, and it doesn't have the Subotai scene, the blueberry scene. So that's gone as well. And the very ending is different, where it says that story shall also be told. That is not there. The text is different. It says, and that's another story, or but that's another story or something. I haven't watched that. Yeah, that's the original theatrical one. Ooh, so Chinese Blu-ray is the best one that you can get.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for like a proper 4K release. Like we got this Roadhouse one here. Where's our Conan one with every version of the films and all the delete scenes and all that stuff?
Yeah, see, that would be cool. Is that double disc one where they're both on the same disc?
No, it's a flipper.
See, mine is they're
Yeah.
both. I have one version that they're both on one disc.
So that's probably poorer quality.
Yeah, it's an original cut. Nothing added to it whatsoever.
Oh, I've got that too. Yeah, I don't consider that like anything.
Yeah.
It's just like
What's all I got, man? Come on.
Well, you got to get the Chinese Blu-rays all region. It works fine. You just got to take the subtitles off because it has the Chinese subtitles.
Oh,
okay. The subtitle button, and then you're fine.
Do they have English subtitles? Because I have to watch movies with subtitles.
Oh yeah. There's English subtitles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might get that. Well, I'm holding off. I've just watched the movies recently, so hopefully, I would have thought these movies are well loved enough that they should get a 4K release. You'd have thought so, but
there's a Red Sonja 4K which just shipped for me. I know you said it wasn't that great.
Yeah, I got the Red Sonja 4K and it sucked.
I just want it for the cover. I don't care if another one comes out American. I'll just rebuy it.
Yeah, it has the Blu-ray with it, I think, as well. So, and it has like some special features and things on it there. But the Red Sonja 4K, mine kept pausing, like freezing all the time, and having these issues. So,
right.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see. Maybe it was just my disc was faulty or whatever. But
right.
And the film, the color, they tinkered with the color a bit of it, and it looks a little weird at times.
I hate that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what you think. So. Yeah, could not be reached here. Says the film definitely deserves the extra special treatment. Yeah, come on, guys, get on that. So,
maybe a Conan art book or something with it. You know,
that'd be beautiful. I'd love to get that.
Because I got like the one for Fury Road when that came out, and it's like all the pre-art and all this other stuff. Give me something with Conan. That would be amazing.
They don't have it for any of the movies. I didn't even know the Fury Road one came out because I collect those. I got all the Thor movies, and I'm not getting Love and Thunder, but I ordered Doctor Strange 2. I've got like the Watchmen stuff, Sucker Punch, 300.
I think Anthony's got it in his room. I used to have it in here, but he got into model making and stuff. So I was like,
awesome.
Dude, do Fury Road, take that and make it into Fury Road. So
yeah,
he loves that stuff.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, back to Conan anyway. So yeah, I've really grown to love the film. Like you've mentioned before, it's the poetry of the dialogue in it that like, is it I am the wellspring from which you grow, or which you grow? Just when you said that, and I thought, what an amazing line. But James Earl Jones is never bad in anything. Like he makes everything better, and him as Thulsa Doom, anyone who came after him just didn't stand a chance.
Right.
I mean, I like a whole doom when the crowds all say there's just something.
It's like a low roar till you realize they're saying doom.
It's almost like a wind. It's like
exactly. Yeah.
Children of Doom.
Yeah,
that's it.
But yeah, back to the score. Basil Polidorus just was another one who's such an underrated composer. I mean, he did RoboCop, and the RoboCop score is fantastic. It's like a sci-fi western. He also did On Deadly Ground, and that was the best thing about the film.
Cherry 2000. I've got the soundtrack. I've got the CD of
Cherry 2000. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got the soundtrack to that, which came with No Man's Land. So both on one CD, both Basil. It's like, this is crazy. The guy, like, Cherry 2000, does that need a high caliber? No, sure, why not?
You can if you want, but it don't need it. It don't deserve it. I love Cherry 2000, but
could not be. Yeah, he's a cult villain actually. He's like a skeleton guy, really. But he's 1,000 years old, so technically, he could have been alive during the time of Conan. I'm an apologist. Stop it. I'm an apologist.
He's a reincarnated version of.
Well, they could have used Tathamon, but I don't remember why John Milius didn't use Tathamon. I mean, he's like, I think he first appeared in the first story, Phoenix and the Sword. I think that's the first Robert E. Howard story. And it's like, just use that guy. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah. Also, I love one of my favorite female characters is Valeria, played by Sandra Bergman.
Yes.
And like people are like, oh, not enough badass females. She's badass. Like she's every bit as tough as Conan. And she's awesome, but she's vulnerable and appealing at the same time, without ever belittling him or anything else. And they save each other, and they're just such a great couple, and she's just a great character. I love her in it. And you got is it Mako or Mako? Mako, I think it was Mako.
Yeah, I've always said Mako.
I've always said Mako. Yeah.
I say Mako because of the way that they, I think, like the Japanese language. I would think like manga, so I would say Mako.
Mako.
Yeah, but I'm not. I could be.
Yeah,
I don't know. Next time I talk to him, I'll ask him.
Yeah,
fine.
right.
We'll figure
that went well because he died like 10 or 20 years ago.
Like I said, the next time I talk to him, I'll find
it should be interesting.
Might be a little while.
He's awesome though as the wizard.
Yeah,
I love him. He's just always great.
Akiro.
And the fact that he ends up in the second one too. For a lot of characters that carried over. I love that he popped back up in there because he's the storyteller.
Yep.
That made more sense than anything to me, was to just let it carry on and bring him back in there.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if I've ever noticed this, but for some reason it was only on maybe not this viewing, but the viewing before, where I noticed that was Max von Sydow in it. I was like, oh shit, that's Max von Sydow. How did I not notice before?
Yep.
Yeah. So he was awesome.
My daughter back.
Yeah.
Take all the jewels you can carry.
Take it all. More when you arrive back.
Whenever you have actors of this caliber in a movie like this, it just elevates the material in every way. They deliver all the lines just perfectly, and it still just really holds up. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm going to. He's set, but just
he's set. Yeah.
Okay, so over to you, Charlie. I'll let your thoughts on Conan.
So we're just going to do the Barbarian, or
no? We'll go on to all of them, but we'll do Conan.
But
first.
I meant like right now, Conan first, because I was going to say Conan the Barbarian was not how I was introduced to the movies. I actually watched it last, not counting the remake. Mm-hmm. I did Red Sonja, Destroyer, then I watched Barbarian. Mm. But when I saw Barbarian, I realized why my dad waited so long to let me watch it. A lot more blood, boobs, everything that
it's not a kid's film.
Everything an adolescent boy craves. And I was always fascinated by it, man. The Sword and Sandal movies were some of my favorite movies growing up.
Yeah, particularly in the 80s.
Oh, the 80s, and then early 90s was when I really got into watching them. And then at that point you could just go rent a stack of VHSs and just have a different movie all every day of the week. From the Conans to She to all of Beastmaster, all those movies. So I was always fascinated by the swords. I have that's not plastic, boys, that's metal. It's just always something that's been part of my viewing and part of my childhood was watching Conan. Love James Earl Jones in it. I hate snakes, but it was an awesome. Just I believed he changed. Whenever you.
That was such a creepy scene as well. The way they done it.
So creepy the way he transforms, and then all of a sudden he's a giant snake. It's like, I can do it. Or when he straightens the snake out into the arrow, awesome. Like, oh my god, Seek. And then there's scenes that are like legitimately terrifying, like with the witch, and then when the spirits come to take Conan, to wherever it's called, I can't remember what it's called, the Valley of the Death or whatever. Yeah. There were as a kid, some very intense scenes that have always stuck with me. Even, we were talking about the soundtrack, but even just the sounds of the movie, the way they did all that just was so impactful. And what else do you say about Conan, man? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you didn't know who Arnold was in the 80s and the 90s, even before I was allowed to watch these movies, I know who Arnold Schwarzenegger was. He is Conan, period. It's why some people are pissed off about the Jason Momoa thing. It's like, why didn't we just get old Conan? And, I kind of get it. I think I still would love to see King Conan.
Because they teased it. Right?
They how many times they've teased it like 2 or 3 times already.
Right. That's the issue.
And they keep reminding us that it's around. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a big thing in Stranger Things that ties into Conan. So if you haven't seen it, I'll tell you offline. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that may not have caught up. But there's all these little things where it tries to stay in the pop culture of
I've seen it.
The deleted scene of his murder.
Yeah, King Osric after the trio leaves. The guy who was kind of looking weird at him They actually kill him. They have this, the eyes of the serpent, the dagger of the serpent. They
so
kill
there's.
him. They remove that because then when
Yeah.
she goes back, now she's going back to a dead king. So
when I growing up watching this, you know, obviously sometimes I'd have to watch it on television. It'd be like on TBS or TNT. There were times I swear there were different scenes on the television version. I'm starting to think like some of those you were just talking about are actually on the television cut, because there's a lot to cut out of Conan to play on network television. At least, if not more, you know. I always remember this movie being really short. It's not, but I've always known. And when I did see the ending cut where she like distracts the guards, when you watch it again theatrically, you realize it's a pretty sudden change from one scene to another where he's like right there.
Right, because that's all cut out.
Yeah, it's like instantaneous, and when you're first watching it, you're still just in awe. You're not paying attention. But when you see it removed, you're like, wow, why did they take that out? That's kind of important of how he got basically the drop on Thulsa at the end. Yeah. I mean,
he just appears it's like, whoa, that was easy.
Yeah. He just pops out, you know, and it was until I saw the cut, you know, you're just like, I never thought twice about it, you know, because, you know, head gets cut off and thrown down the steps. I'm happy, you know, it's a happy ending. But no, man, I have loved it. I mean, I don't have as much as J-Man, but I've got like
nobody does
the pop vinyl.
Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah,
and then I got the war paint one. I know every time I hold on, I got something.
I've already got that twice.
I've got that. Come on,
I'll do this. You don't have this.
I don't have that one, but I have a different one.
Okay, right. It's show us your shit time. So right.
Yeah. Well, I have to get in before J-Man, but then I also have the added maps.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I forget what this Kitai. This one follows the actual Conan.
Oh,
yeah. Demons of Kitai is what I have here.
Hey, that works out perfect.
Yeah.
Here I wasn't going to show it, but you know.
Yeah, show it all.
Yeah. And my dad made this sword at work, brought it home, and he calls it the Conan sword. So since I was a kid, this was up in his garage, like up in the rafters, like after I moved out. I dug it back out and cleaned it up, and I need to do like a real fix up. Like that's just leather loosely wrapped around the top, but I really want to redo it. And then my battle axe back there out of car parts.
Remember me never to burgle your house.
Yeah, America. Fuck yeah.
Fuck you.
We've got hockey sticks with real blades on the end, so that's our weapons.
That's fine. What work?
I go like that.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got.
Let's not pull out the weapons. I'll beat J-Man at that one.
Yeah, I've got a couple of cool dragon, those like big knives, and like a butterfly knife and stuff. Can you do I can do the butterfly knife.
I know. I remember you doing that before.
I can do the basic one. I can't get into
I used to be able to. I used to do it really good at Burning Man. I practiced it all day. We were there for 10 days at Burning Man. I was like just doing this all day, and then I've lost. I could do the kind of the basic one, but
I can do the basic. I had a trainer for a long time where you don't care. You realize like, this isn't hard. Now do it with a sharp one. You're like, I'm not
gonna. Right, I know. Yeah.
Not worth the risk.
Okay, the time has come for you, J-Man.
Wow. All right. So, it's my favorite movie of all time. It hasn't changed. It has changed because I actually saw Conan the Destroyer, I think first, but I'm not sure. And I loved Conan the Destroyer. I watched it 100 million times. I still love it now. I don't care. Yep. I think it's an absolutely perfect fantasy movie, which we'll get to Destroyer after, but I saw it first. So I saw Conan the Barbarian as a kid, and I thought, I like this, but it's a bit boring. And I'm like, so I would watch Conan Destroyer, let's say 3 Conan the Destroyer viewings to 1 Barbarian viewing, right? Like I would watch, you know what I mean? And
that's
then go
fair.
back.
Yeah, that's about me. Yeah.
I got a bot.
Yeah. Goodbye.
So anyway, and then as you grow up, it shifts where you're like, okay, no, wait a minute, this movie's awesome. And this is all before I really started to pay attention to what's going on in the movie and all that. So my first tattoo ever was the Conan logo. It's here. Oh God, that's like more than 20 years now. Geez. So it's like I love it. I've got so much stuff. Well, I can go through it really quickly, but like, yeah, I love the movie. So the soundtrack and all that. This is a movie where the soundtrack is very important. It helps tell the story. That doesn't happen in other movies. Not all the time. Sometimes it does happen in other movies, but not as much. Now it's just a score. There's a theme to it. I love both scores. Basil did both Destroyer and Thing. He added.
They're very different though. Like he doesn't like use the same themes. He does something different with Destroyer, doesn't he?
No, it's the same themes. He does add the crystal, like the castle when they go to Tothamon's place. They use he's got a new score for that, but it's just jazzed up a little bit different. I've got like different versions of all the soundtracks, but like the thing is that Conan doesn't have a lot of dialogue, right? So it's like it's told through physical, like his performance, but also through the music.
Don't tell.
Yeah, and the thing is that making the sword in the beginning, it's the father's pounding the sword. And it's supposed to be. Conan is the sword. That's the point of it, right? So it's like the father's crafting it and you've got to temper it. You got to hammer it. You got to it's got to go through stuff. So he's got to go through all this stuff, right? And then they cut to the mom dressing it. So she's making it. She's clothing him and making him, she's doing the pretty stuff, whereas the dad's doing the hard labor, right? So all that's in the beginning. He gives the Riddle of Steel speech in the beginning, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Obviously, Thulsa Doom kills everybody. Then it starts. Now, this is the absolute. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something. 2 minutes of 30 seconds of the entire origin of Conan's strength. It's done just with music. It's him pushing the Wheel of Pain. You start off with like 30 kids. As the scene progresses, he gets bigger and bigger. His legs get bigger. You see the arms get bigger, and everyone's dead, and he's pushing it alone. In the meantime, his captor, who is a little kid whipping him, has also grown with him, and he's the red-haired guy. So the red-haired kid is the red-haired guy with the beard, and that's why he releases him, because he's kind of seen him grow. He releases him later on because he felt kind of bad for him. But anyways, that's in 2 minutes, and it's just visually done with music, and you're like, "Yep, I see how he became this big, strong guy." Survival of the fittest. Right. Everything is told in that first movie. Other cool things. I'm not gonna go through the whole movie, but other cool things that people don't notice is that like Valeria and Conan have a love story, and they're amazing. Okay. And the love story is awesome when she's there with him and she's like, let someone else go. That entire speech, I literally get choked up every time. I don't want to do the speech because I will get choked up. I've memorized it. And if you go back and watch the movie, Conan only ever says one thing to her, and he says, "You're not a guard." That is the only line of dialogue that he says to Valeria in the whole movie.
Wow.
He looks at her, he's like, "You're not a guard." That's it. He never speaks another word to her. She does the talking in that relationship, but it doesn't matter. You feel it, right? The best in life thing, that's the famous one. Well, what's best in life? He goes through it all, right? So crush your enemies, see him driven before.
Lamentations of the women.
So and at the very end, he finally prays to Crom, which he never does, and Crom doesn't like it anyways, but he does pray to Crom. He, grant me revenge. And he grants him what's best in life, which is he crushes the enemies there. Thorgrim and Rexor are crushed. He drives away Thulsa Doom. Thulsa Doom runs away in his presence, and the woman cries out to him saying, "No, don't leave me." He gets what's best in life, and that's why at the end he does his gladiator move, because that's the move that he would do after every gladiator match, and that was his frame of mind when he was a gladiator. So he got what's best in life at the very end. That I didn't notice that for about 15 years. I don't know, like somehow this, like, I'm like, what the hell? And then I started to research it, and I saw this guy talking about saying, well, yeah, the girl screams out at me. I was like, oh my God, holy shit. This is what he gets. The Riddle of Steel is awesome. Is it really steel? No, because it's broken, right? His father's sword is broken. His father's sword says, "Suffer no guilt, ye who wield this in the name of Crom." That's what's written on the sword, if you wanted to know. Sword gets crushed, so it's not the sword. Thulsa Doom is saying it's sort of will, right? It's like willpower, and it's like it's the hand that wields it. It's like it's your will. It's not just the hand though. Like he's saying, I've got power over people, and I've got power of like control and all that, but that's not it either. Really, it is the will to do something. It's great that you're controlling the sword, therefore it's like steel isn't strong because you're the one doing it. It's like it can't steel can't do anything on its own,
right?
But it's the will of the person to use the steel to do the deeds that they want to do. That is really the riddle. It's like Conan finally embraces it. He was always going head first into battles, right? It's like, look, the The sword is there and you've got good skills, but you have to think things through. The battle of the mounds is 2 against many, right? Crom's not going to help. It's up to you guys. So they set up traps, right? It's not just Conan, like, I'm going to go, like, he literally grabs that medallion. It's like, I'm going to head over to Thulsa Doom and infiltrate. It's like, that's the dumbest plan of all time. He gets captured in 2 seconds. It's like, you have to also think with your mind. It matters too. That's what Thulsa Doom is saying. It's like, I can use my mind and do stuff too. It's like, you also have to implement that. So that's why he does it at the end where they set traps up. Normally Conan would be like, okay, I'm taking everybody on. It's like, oh, really? That's a dumb move, right? And he takes Subuntai's help because he goes off alone. He doesn't say to Valeria or Subutai saying, hey, listen, guys, you know what? Look, I know you're saying you want to stay behind, let someone else deal with this, to hell with Thulsa Doom and all that, but I can't let it go. He looks at the medallion of the 2 snakes. He's like, I can't let this go. This is my, this is my purpose, right? But he doesn't ask them. He's just like, okay, I'll just go all alone as I've always been, right? So he's not using his brain. So there's all this stuff. There's a lot going on in this movie. But the great thing about this movie is that it works as a surface level narrative fantasy movie. He fights big monsters. There's like the girl in there. There's nudity. There's a big awesome villain at the end. He fights the guy. It's cool. There's the big muscular dudes that he fights. There's that orgy pit, right? Yep. So it's just cool. Anyways, a lot of the times you get 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is all thinking and philosophy, and there's not a lot of enjoyment. You're like, well, okay, I get enjoyment out of it in deciphering it, but regular people
it's
are like,
technically good.
Yes, technically, yeah, and people are like, oh, okay, this is kind of boring. Then you might get a movie which surface level has a lot of great action and all that, like the Conan Momoa, which we'll get to, beautifully shot, well crafted, but it doesn't have that philosophy. So this is the one movie that has seemingly for me everything in one movie, where it's like I can turn my brain off. I hate turn your brain off. It's like, well, why do I have a brain? I'm not a sponge watching a movie. I'm a friggin' man. It's like I can turn my brain on for Conan, and it's exciting to me. It is slow, but I think it's perfectly paced because it needs to present a world. It needs you to understand the characters who live in this world and the world itself and the dangers of the world. And now we watch these characters go. When him and Subutai are talking, that's some of the best stuff. Where he's like, "My God is greater," and he's like, Crumb laughs at your 4 winds. He's like, he's the everlasting sky. Your God lives underneath. And then Conan's like, "Shit, you kind of got me on that one, didn't you?" And it's like, I love those dialogue scenes and like just them walking around the town. You're like, wow. He's like, civilization, ancient and wicked. Have you ever seen anything like this before? He's like, well, no. It's like, let's waste no time. And everything feels real in that movie. There's no CGI. Yeah. There's no stupid shit. I hate stupid shit in movies where sometimes you got a good movie going and they just have to introduce some stupid shit in it where it's just like, there's like some comic character.
Comic relief characters crap, right? Are never funny. Yeah.
They're never funny, right? The fun of these 2 characters is their interactions with each other and their philosophies that are different. Or even when he's like, dinner for Wolf, he's like, oh, I'm Harkanian. It's like, okay. He's like, well, what are you doing here? He's like, dinner for Wolf. It's like, right. It's like, who are you? You're not something. I'm a thief and archer. And it's like, no, he goes, you're nothing, right? It's like you're chained up to a wall here. So finding the Atlantean sword is awesome because Conan he never had his own sword. The king that was in that burial was waiting for someone worthy to take the sword. That's why he was able to die. Right. He held on to the sword till someone took it. Obviously, then he died. This is an obvious one. I don't have to explain the meaning of that. Right. But now Conan's got his sword. Now that's his sword. And his sword breaks his father's sword. It's like he's not the father, but he uses the father's sword to get revenge on Thulsa Doom because that would be the right thing to do because that was the sword that Thulsa Doom wanted. So it's like he uses his own weapon. And the girl now, she uses the wayward daughter of King Osric because she has no ambition in her life other than to serve somebody else. She immediately turns to Conan. Once he's proven that he's better, she immediately turns to him and is bowing to him. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, I don't care about you guys. It's like, go do it. And they're all thinking like, oh, Conan's going to lead us. It's like, no, I don't care about any of this.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, see ya.
I don't like snakes. Snakes are bad.
Yeah. Well, he killed the giant snake in the beginning before Thulsa Doom before we even knew he had that ability. So we already saw that Conan is good against snakes, but Thulsa Doom does have hypnotism. And for a second, he does have Conan in the spell a little bit. And Conan's like, yeah, I've been through too much now. You're not going to pull this trick on me like you did my mom, who was just attractive redhead. But anyway, so I love this movie. I think it's genius. I could talk way more on it. I've got so much crap. I told Owen I can't bring everything out. It's just I've got.
You can show some of it.
I can show you a couple. I'll show you a few things really like rapid fire. I've got this Conan. This is the magazine version, so it's like comic book adaptation. Oliver Stone, yes, I love Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone's script would have cost $4 trillion. He's like, there's hell on earth, and there's all this crap. It's like, yeah, that's not happening. Here's Destroyer.
Still would have been cool. Oh yeah.
Ooh, that was awesome.
Barbarian. So that's some of the books. I'll show you guys these. These are I have the whole collection. I've got Thorgrim, Rexor, and different Conan versions and different Thulsa Doom. So here's Conan.
Yeah. I like that. I gotta find that.
Yeah.
So this, Charlie, because you for your knowledge, is the He-Man Classics style. So it's classics He-Man, but Conan. I don't know if it's the Four Horsemen, but they might still be available on Big Bad Toy Store. Here's Thulsa Doom.
Snakehead and everything.
Yeah. Charlie would not be buying that.
Yeah. So they've done, and the packaging is nice too.
Snakeskin. I don't know. Yeah. I might buy that now.
So they've done every character. Not Super 7. It's no, it might be Super 7. You're right. I got soundtrack. So this is Conan the Destroyer, a brand new 2 CD. It's got like new songs on there, new tracks. Conan Destroyer original CD release. Conan the Barbarian original CD release. This is a 3-disc Conan special edition, limited, whatever the hell it is. That's the soundtracks, and I've got once we get to the other soundtracks, I'll show you these two. I've got Conan, the new one. I got I don't have Red Sonja. I desperately want it Nintendo Conan game, which is like not bad, but like, you already saw
it for the collection. Yeah,
you saw this crap.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get some room here so I can move things to the side.
So if anybody from Vinegar Syndrome or anybody's watching, please do us 4K of this movie.
Absolutely.
Not the complete series. Not the complete series. Very irritating. They stopped releasing it.
Oh, really? That's annoying.
There's the full. That's Red Sonja.
I remember that. Was that Ralph Moeller that did those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because someone was asking, said, are we going to talk about this? I haven't actually seen that, so...
it's a show.
Any good? Tell me a little bit about it.
I'd rather watch Hercules.
Matthias,
I love Hercules. Got the whole thing. 4K on the way. Love this poster. Was this Boris? It may have been Boris. It could not be reached. Will tell me in 2 seconds. I think it was. Then I got these other releases of the other movies. Oh, there's the Blu-ray of that one. Okay, put this here. I'll show you a couple of. There's this other stuff. I may as well just show you like Red Sonja. This is the Blu-ray animated thing. Solomon Kane, who's our Robert E. Howard. Call is Robert E. Howard.
Solomon Kane's good.
Painting with Fire for Zeta documentary on Fred must have. I got this. This is for Zeta's. This might be the first one that he did. So they re-optioned the covers, called it Conan the Adventurer. This is where the Frazetta covers came from. This may have been the first one. Got this right before he died. So that was that. I'm glad I was able to.
I got a friend of mine that got a personal invitation to the Frazetta Museum.
Yes,
from Frazetta's daughters.
Yes. I'm on their Facebook thing.
Yeah, my buddy Derek, he does like the special effects and art and stuff, and they contacted him directly. He got to go down there and check it out. I've seen pictures. I was like, you son of a bitch.
That is amazing. And then this is just volume 1. So it's Robert E. Howard stuff. I have all the volumes of Conan, Bran McMorn, who's the other guy? Solomon Kane. Who else? There's like 5 or 6 volumes. I don't have every Robert E. Howard thing he ever did, but I'm pretty close though. Pretty close. That's all I brought out.
The Xbox Conan game.
I did play. I played that as well.
I remember that.
I did. I never owned it though.
You could like change how you look. You can make your own Conan character and adjust it, and it was pretty cool. Oh yeah.
So, Savage Sword was about 256 or 57 issues, something like that. Could not be reached. Can correct me. I'm just going by memory. I only have about maybe 50 issues or something. It's like half a short box of Savage Sword. They're expensive. I will complete that once I complete. I have a few series I need to complete. Once I complete that, I'll go hardcore. I will and finish those off. I was able to get all of the. They did like phone book reprints of all the stuff. No, it's not. It's not your. But I got the your poster right there. Of course, I have a Conan poster. But no, I want to get the real swords because I know Cannot Be Reach has some. They've got them. You can get the real life swords of them. I've got a Conan shelf of stuff there, and the toys are like I have a lot of toys. I was able to get most of the Conan Savage Sword Conan reprints. They reprinted them in like a phone book, like those fat kind of magazines. So I just grabbed those because it's hard to find original Savage Sword. They cost a lot. Sean's been doing a great job of getting them in the last couple shows. And I'm starting to think like, Sean, don't go too crazy because I need to get these as well. So if you don't buy out the whole stock. Anyway, but I was working on the Remo Williams magazines, which I have almost the whole collection now, just missing 2. But anyway, so yeah, so I got those. And then for Conan, the original Marvel run, I started getting the trade paperbacks, which are just easier to get. Like some of these issues are expensive. Conan and X-Men and Spider-Man were the top 3 Marvel sellers, man. Conan was top 3 Marvel seller comic. They got the rights for piss. Cost nothing. Stan Lee didn't believe in it, just like Stan Lee didn't really. I don't think Stan Lee believed in Star Wars either. Roy Thomas was like really pushing for this. They got it. The license was crazy. Conan was amazing. Then Dark Horse got it, and I had every single issue of every Conan series that Dark Horse put out. And then I don't know. I had a moment of complete insanity, and I started to buy the collected editions. And I was actually selling the physical single issues because I was running out of space. And I thought, and I sold 2 or 3 sets. And I thought, damn, maybe I shouldn't have sold those sets because now Dark Horse doesn't have the license anymore. And those are really hard to find. So like, I think Demons of Kitai, I'm not sure if I even have that one anymore. The one that you had, I had the whole set of that. I may have sold it, which kind of sucks. And that was really stupid. I don't know why. And then I'm like that was the day where I'm like, I'm never selling anything Conan related. Like, this is so stupid.
Just buy a bigger house. Always bigger houses. Never sell collections.
No, I've learned that. Yeah. Like idiot me getting rid of the DVDs a few months back. I don't even remember getting rid of them. I just think that's what happened because I spent like hours looking in the shelves and I was like, where the hell are the Conan movies? And I was like, oh, I think I took everything from the shelf and gave it to the Goodwill. So
I've done it before. It's a bad policy. I'm looking if there's anything else.
I traded some stuff in like when Netflix got popular where you could still get the DVDs mailed to you, but they were just starting the streaming and a movie would be on there. I'm like, well, I don't need the physical copy. It's on Netflix. And then you find out like, oh, it leaves Netflix.
Yeah, 3 months later.
Yeah, you sons of bitches. So yeah, I didn't get rid of everything, but
physical media all the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's pretty much good for Conan because we still got other movies, and I don't want to.
We still got the other ones to get through. Yeah. No, Alex, I was actually. It was recently, like literally, like a few months back, because it was during COVID, and we were bored, and I was clearing stuff out, and I was like, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to replace it on Blu-ray or 4K, and that's whenever I went online, I was like, it's not out in 4K. I'm a dick. So, I will hold off getting them until they come out in 4K. I hope.
Yeah.
Thanks for the offer, though, Alex. So we're going to Conan the Destroyer. I got to be honest. I prefer this one to Conan the Barbarian. I'm just putting it out there now. That's
not going to upset me because it's still Conan.
But I just think. If you're an idiot like me and you like just constant action or whatever, it doesn't have the poetry or whatever, but it has lots of fighting, sword fights, and it just feels it's a more sort of generic fantasy adventure tale, but it's still awesome. There are so many like great scenes. I love the scene where Conan is fighting the creature and destroying the mirrors.
Yep.
The wizard. That
was awesome scene. Who like the fans of Tathamon had a because he's a big time villain of Conan, and he's just defeated so easily. They hated that, but anyways,
but it's still a cool scene.
It's a cool scene.
Was Grace Jones ever not terrifying?
She's crazy
in everything. Yeah, but she's awesome as Zula, and it's like. But I love the scene how she's just like total hard ass all the way through it, and then whenever she sees a mouse, she like totally freaks out, and then she's like.
I love that.
Yeah, I just love it. Yeah. Yeah, so you say that the music is the same because like it didn't seem to have the same big choral music like in the opening credits or anything. It was it was different.
It's definitely this. Yeah, it's like dun 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 dun. Right? It's still the same. He added a few things. Now they also remixed some of the music in the intro. So depending on what CD you buy, so I have 3 Conan Destroyer soundtracks, and there's like 3 Barbarians as well. If you need any of these, like I bought them, so I actually ripped them, and so I can give them to people if you just want them or whatever. Wow, we're getting a lot of bots. Hey, what the hell?
More? Oh shit!
Yeah, different ones.
Oh, what the fuck? God, that's annoying. Continue talking while I destroy them.
No, yeah, I feel like the soundtrack though. I get what Owen's talking about. I feel like it's more like high, like the brass is a little bit higher. They maybe even changed the tempo slightly because it's just like da 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 da. You know, just it's not like the Conan type feel from the Barbarian. I definitely feel like it may be the same, but they definitely messed with it. They
like the theme is the same. They just jazzed it up. So like whereas
very
much you hear that times,
yeah. No,
Conan the Accountant.
I like Conan the Librarian.
Yeah, Conan the Librarian. Yeah.
Dewey Decimal System. Oh no, that's why he says the book's late. Yeah,
your book is late. I was going to say, I love Wilt Chamberlain as Bombata. The fact he makes Arnie look small in comparison.
I know.
Holy shit, it's absolutely huge. And I always I think it would have been cooler if he'd had sort of a redemption arc, because he sort of helps him out throughout most of the film, and then all of a sudden, he goes back to like his original mission. And I was like, I don't know. I think it would have been cooler if he'd like become a good guy and joined them or whatever. But I suppose it would have been a bit more predictable doing that. But I gotta say, I know I'll probably get abused for this. I kind of find Tracy Walter's character Malak a bit annoying in this. He's the funny sidekick, comic relief guy who's the cowards type. He's like, oh, can't we just leave? Oh, shut up, you're not funny. Like, he's not funny at all ever. So I don't really like him in it. I love Sarah Douglas, Ursula from Superman, as Queen Taramis. She was awesome. So yeah, and then I like that you have a big final showdown with the big monster at the end as well. It's like fantasy movies need lots of monsters. That was kind of one of the things why I never I liked Game of Thrones but never loved it. You had the dragons, which were cool, but there weren't enough like people just fucking up monsters and stuff in it. It was more just like incest and rape, and I was like, no, I'd much rather have just big monsters instead.
But and then Andre the Giant plays Dagoth, I think, right? That's like the which is pretty cool. Dagoth,
that's why it's pretty much wrestling moves at the end of the movie whenever they're fighting each other. That's all like cool. the old school WCW like wrestling moves.
Oh, those are awesome. So yeah, I definitely enjoy Conan the Destroyer. I mean, I know Conan the Barbarian is the better movie. It's got better script, and like I said, the poetry to it, and the story is more interesting and everything. But just as an all-out action fantasy movie, I can find Destroyer easier to watch. It's easier to sit through. So that's my controversial statement. So, Charlie, what do you think about it?
It ain't controversial at all, man. I grew up watching Destroyer way more than Barbarian because I was, for whatever reason, I was allowed to watch Destroyer earlier on in my age, and I'm watching it. I actually popped it on today in the shop.
It's PG-13, isn't it?
It was PG.
Yeah.
There was no PG-13
when this came out. That was the good old days where you could still have nudity in PG movies.
And I'm watching it going, how the hell is this not even R? I mean, there's a ton of blood, guts. There's like brief nudity in this one, not like the Barbarian. But yeah, I grew up watching this one. This was my go-to movie as a kid. I could watch it anytime. This one is my favorite. I love Barbarian. Just like what you said, you can't deny what it is, the poetry of it, the story. I do like, while it seems slower, I like that things seem spaced out so you understand the vastness of the desert where they are. I hate movies where it's like so fast paced you feel like every town is next door to its each other. It's like, how'd you get there so fast? What I get no sense of time. Kind of like what Destroyer does. There's not as much of that where you feel like there's a passage of time.
Yeah, it doesn't slow down enough.
Never. There's always, even from the tribal dudes that are trying to cook Mako, and all these like little mini things that happen. Freeze Grace Jones. She was raiding a village. Like, they literally go there. Her people came here to raid our village, which usually means to kill us, take everything we have. They're the bad guys, and then they let her out. you know. So I'm like, the people weren't that bad. And they also are trapping Conan at the beginning because they need his help. And I'm like, you really had to piss off the leader of the guards and the queen, because she literally threw her guys out there knowing they're probably going to get killed.
Right.
There's like 3 guys that get killed, and all they're trying to do is capture Conan. And, you know, he punches a horse and everything in it. I don't mind Mallet, or whatever you call him, Bob from Batman.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't talk. I guess that was the trade-off. We'll let you be in Batman, but you're not allowed to talk. I will always laugh at my, you know, sisters, brothers, cousins.
Yeah.
Who
cares what's my brother?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And they're arguing. Him and Mako are arguing. You know, and he points out to Conan the camel. Oh, look, it's an old friend. And, you know, Conan goes to apologize to the camel for punching it out in the first movie.
Yeah. So how does Malik know that? He's not
right. I mean, that
always
you know,
pissed me off.
They tell stories, man. What else are you going to do to pass the time over there?
Yeah, everyone knows who Conan is. Like, Conan's a legend, basically, and everyone sort of knows who he is. So,
they're like, this dude punched out a camel. It's awesome. But, you know, I always really enjoyed, you know, Conan the Destroyer. It's fun. It's fast paced. I love the wizard segment, you know, especially when he transforms out of nowhere. And as a kid, you're like, holy shit. And this isn't even like halfway through the movie. There's still a ton going on. And the Dagoth. I love the Dagoth battle at the end. Whoever did, I didn't look it up, whoever did the special effects on there, man, they went all out.
It's still good. Yeah.
So when he rips the horn out of it, you're like, that's what if you rip the horn out of something alive, that's what it looks like. Blood vessels.
It looks sore.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know, I don't like this. And it's, you know, when Malith throws the knife and sticks it in the face and blood spurts out everywhere. And even today I was watching it going, I never realized that when Dagoth falls on the steps, all of the stuff coming out of it's green. You know, it's not blood. There was like green slime coming out of the big wound. And I'm guessing that was we don't really want it to be R-rated. Yeah. So if we put blood in there, it's not going to pass that rating. But yeah, no, Destroyer, I will watch that over and over and over again. I really will. I have zero problems with it. It's fun. It's fast. Yeah. You know, the girl, when you were a teenager, she didn't look that much older than you. So you're like, yeah, she's hot. I dig it, you know.
But then you watch it now and you're like,
yeah, you realize she's still older than me, but I'm also like, I still don't feel right. And I will always laugh when she's talking to Mbatu about, is he handsome? You know, I don't have much to go off of, you know. I've never been exposed to a man and he just like stares at her like, this bitch, what the hell? You know, so I like the comedy in this one. It was a little bit more lighthearted, a little more fantasy fun, and still got to see Conan slice and hack and do all this awesome shit.
Yeah, I mean, like really, I don't even really compare the movie. It's like one story. You know, it's just Conan with Arnie, and that's it. You know, like I can't watch Conan the Barbarian and not watch Destroyer. I have to watch them both.
That's pretty much it. If I'm in a mood for Conan, I literally put them all on. And I mean, I'll like, if I'm still in the shop, I'll put Red Sonja on. If you know, next day, if I'm still in the mood, I put in the Jason Momoa one. You know, you get in those modes of, I just want sword and sandal movies right now.
Yeah, I do love them. Now, Cannot Be Reached here says, I'd like to see the Sarah Douglas deleted scenes taken out for the PG rating. I don't know about them.
Well, in the
novelization,
okay, yeah, in the novelization. So I have the novelization of Conan the Destroyer, done by an earlier draft, covered by Ken Kelly, who's awesome. And I read it. And firstly, it's not Tathamon in the book. It's Amon Rama, something like that. I can't remember if that's a character from Conan, which is just my memories failing me, but he might be. But it's not Tathamon. Tathamon is a big villain, so they wasted him in Conan the Destroyer. That's one of the sins of the movie.
The complaints, yeah.
The other sin is Sobotai's changed to Malik, who's unfunny, so that's another sin. Also, there's not really any like sex. That's another sin. In the novelization, Conan has sex with Queen Taramis, with Sarah Douglas.
Yeah.
So I suppose that was in the movie because it was in the script. So maybe they shot some of that. So that's one thing. And that's why Bombata's there to protect the girl Jenna, because Conan's a big muscular guy, and he's got to protect the virginity of her because she needs to be pure to grab the jewel or whatever.
Yeah, they say that flat out.
They say it.
You're here to protect her virginity from everyone, especially Conan, basically. I feel like maybe when they did this movie, they weren't originally going for the PG rating, because there's a lot in this movie that, like, if you were going for PG, you definitely wouldn't have. Like, there's some huge blood spurts and deaths in this thing, and I feel like they then dialed it back. Like, there's possibility that the Dagoth kill at the end is actually red blood, and they tweaked it in the coloring and made it green, because that would be something you could do, was to take that bright red and make it appear green on screen, because when Maleth hits him in the face with the knife, that's red. Red comes out and lands on Conan. So there's very possible that this had nudity, a lot more blood and guts, and then they were like, nope, the studio's like, let's dial it back, let's get a broader audience.
Yeah, I know they wanted PG because they were like all over that. Now the thing is that I'm not sure if Roy Thomas may have had something to do with this movie as well, but this felt okay. So I love Conan the Destroyer. I don't care. I think it's awesome. The thing is that this is one of these movies, and we mentioned this on the Judge Dredd stream. This is one of these movies where fans have fake hatred, where they're like, oh, this effing thing. It's like, okay, well, actually, it's more Conan than Destroyer is more Conan-y or ish than Barbarian, because it's like questing monsters, get a thing, right? Beat the guy at the end. There's magic. Now they didn't have the sex part in it, and they didn't have getting drunk at taverns and all that. So, but Conan the Barbarian is more like again, it's more like John Milius's little like homage to Conan, rather than saying what can we now. Destroyer's not an adaptation of any Robert E. Howard story. Exactly.
Not a direct
right?
storyline.
It's like a Marvel Comics thing. There's like a team of guys. It's Team Conan. He goes and does stuff. Now, I'm not a fan of like Team Conan in the sense of having a lot of guys. There's maybe too many people in Destroyer, but it's a cool adventure movie. Like Conan the Barbarian is not exactly Robert E. Howard, and Conan the Destroyer is not exactly Robert E. Howard, but it's closer than Barbarian. Yeah. But I like both movies as themselves for what they are. I would have loved to see a part 3 and a 4 and a 5, continue it on. And then when they said we're not doing any more, Schwarzenegger ends it with King Conan. You close that chapter off. You recast someone, Momoa, we can talk about it, and then you continue the line that way and say this is a new guy starting over again.
Right.
At the very least, I would have liked to have a third one to close it off. I don't think Conan Destroyer is a disaster. I know it's silly and some people don't like it, but really, the problem is that if I didn't watch Conan the Destroyer, I wouldn't have been a Conan fan. The reason is that you watch it as a kid. This is the same reason why dubbed Godzilla movies are fine. No kid is going to sit through Conan the Barbarian. I don't care who you are. It is very slow. The plot, there's a plot and a story, but it unveils itself through scenes. He goes to meet the witch, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? It's like, what's happening? It's like, oh, I see. Okay. It's his first encounter. So it's like once he's free, he gets right into his mission of, okay, I got to find Thulsa Doom. So he's looking for the snakes and all. But it's not obvious. Whereas Conan Destroyer is very, not want to say family friendly, it's viewer friendly. Anyone can sit down and watch. It's like, okay, even if you didn't,
it's easy to watch.
Yeah, you didn't need Barbarian, obviously.
You don't need Barbarian, right? Because you're like, oh, Valeria, he's praying. Who are you praying for, Conan? And it's like, Valeria, she sits by the side of my God. It's like, it's like, well, I can bring her back. You can bring back the dead? Yes. Okay. Then he goes on a mission. Now, that's very easy to watch, and there's a lot of action, and it's faster paced, and there's new locations every time. There's like a scene. It's perfectly done. It is the absolute perfect template for every fantasy movie that just wants to do basic fantasy. If you want to do high concept, you do Barbarian. If you want to do a fun fantasy movie, just copy Destroyer. Someone gives someone a mission. Give me like 2 or 3 locations, 2 or 3 monsters. That's it. Stop overcomplicate, or make Conan the Barbarian. But if you're making Conan the Barbarian, you better be a skilled craftsman, script writer, filmmaker, get an amazing, like you have to be very good, because a bad Conan the Barbarian movie is boring as hell where nothing happens. And that's what we get a lot of the times with these movies. Or we get dumb things where there's not really any excitement. Conan Destroyer is perfect. Throw the movie on. Everyone can have a good time watching it. Then you're done. And it would have continued, but I saw it first. I would not have sat through Conan the Barbarian. No way. As a kid at this age, the only reason I sat through Barbarian is because I saw Destroyer. I was like, well, I love Conan. So I didn't care. I didn't care if it was slow. I'm like, this is still cool.
Seed had to be planted for your love of a character.
Right.
And to want to know more. You know, it's that whole thing of, oh, there's another movie. I now want to watch it. I mean, Destroyer, it starts with action. And it bookends perfectly and is just like perfect pacing and setting as it goes. Barbarian is phenomenal. Yeah. And it starts somewhat like what you would expect with an epic. It's telling a story. Yep. Then you get like the really cool, like fast-paced origin. Then he's in the pits fighting. First part of Barbarian, you're like, yeah, I'm down. And then it just
because then the philosophy comes in. Training, the riddle of steel meets the girl. And when you're a kid, you're like, oh, you met the girl. You know, right? So it's like, and then it's like, oh, they're partying and because they stole the jewel, right? And then they're having fun. It's like, okay, when are we getting back to like, you know,
when's the next big action thing? I mean, even when they steal the jewel, I think they just toss a couple of guards. You know,
they fight the snake, which is cool, but it's pretty.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's still kind of tame and quick when he fights the snake at the beginning. So you know, it's not a lot pops back up till towards the end when we get the next big battle. Destroyer is battle, just going. I mean, it's like they don't even get to catch their breath. They get the gem, then they have to go get the horn, then the Queen's Guard shows up. Then it's just constant. Then M'Batu takes the girl and they're like, oh shit, now what do we do? And Conan's like, F it, I gotta go get her. It was just, he had a mission, he did it, he saved the girl, done. It worked. Killed a giant monster. The giant monster at the end. I love
every movie's better when it has a monster at the end.
Yeah, I love Tulsa Doom and I love that ending. But as a kid, I'd rather watch Dagoth. I'd rather watch this giant one-horned monster just terror everything. When it jumps from the steps and lands and this ground shatters underneath it, it's just badass. It's exactly what I wanted when I was 14 watching this movie for the first time. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I just want to say the fake. That's why I have the fake hatreds there. Oh, this effing thing is not like. Okay, guys, what are you hating on? Are you hating on that it's not like Robert E. Howard? Well, it's closer than Barbarian. Are you hating that it's not Barbarian? Okay, but your reasoning is flawed. Like, they're not saying the real reason. You're allowed to not like Destroyer, but you have to not like it for the reasons I allow you to not like it.
Right? Yeah.
Right. It's like but same with Judge Dredd. We just take the helmet off. I'm sorry. How many Judge Dredd comics have you read? Oh, 0. So why? Like,
and most of these people, when you go, but what about this part? Okay, that part was kind of cool. But and then you'll be like, well, yeah, but it goes into this point. Okay, that part was kind of cool too. Right. As soon as you break it down like that, they're like, I don't know, it just sucks, and I want to watch the other one only.
Zero reason.
Exactly.
I think we mentioned this a while ago. Do you know what the types of movies I used to love watching growing up, and I watched them all the time? Like Warlords of Atlantis. That movie was my shit growing up. See, do you remember that? Like the giant octopus.
Let me look it up.
Oh my god, J-Man. This is going to be one of your favorite films of all time. It's got like a giant octopus wrecking a ship, and it's just huge monsters all the way through it. It's like Doug McClure.
Oh my god. No, I've never seen this. Oh my god, I must own it. I will own it.
Oh my god, right. I'm bringing it over at some point. We're going to watch it someday, and you're going to be like, this is the greatest movie of all time. It's so fucking good. It's awesome. Great, amazing music score as well. And it's like this ship, the guys jump off a ship in like this underwater submersible thing, and they end up in Atlantis, but it ends up that the people in Atlantis are actually Nazis.
Oh my god.
And they're all about like they're like underwater Nazis, and there's like these huge monsters and dinosaurs and shit like this, and I was like, I want to watch this movie all the time.
Yeah,
I found it, so I will.
I know it is Warlords of the Deep, but it was supposed to be called Warlords of Atlantis.
Yes, it's called Warlords of the Deep. Yes.
Oh, it's called Warlords of Atlantis on my DVD.
It's probably on the foreign.
So if you look at the cover, it says Warlords of Atlantis, but then the movie is called Warlords of the Deep. Like, okay,
that good old stuff.
Warlords of Atlantis is a better title, I think.
I haven't watched that movie in forever.
And this poster is awesome.
Yeah, the music is fantastic. It's brilliant theme tune. It's just amazing theme. Oh god, I need to watch it. Right, I'm going to come over. We're just going to have to take like a week off work and we're just going to watch.
Okay, yeah. So I'll have to come. I should just come over to your place. It seems like and I could just bring stuff there. We can watch.
Good idea. Yeah.
Well, cool. Set up the webcam and turn it so I can see the TV.
So you can join in and be part of it.
I can just sit here and go, "That was awesome."
Yeah. So yeah, we can do that.
We'll figure out something. Yeah, we could do a few visits because you got to watch Dead Alive. Like,
yes. Well, yeah, that's not an Ed film, so I'll come over and watch that at yours.
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we'll do that. But
I've seen Surf Nazis Must Die.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Anyway, so Conan, so you probably have to go like 9:30, Jay. Am I right?
Yeah, we could get to the remake.
Okay. So we'll go to the remake now then. 2011 remake with Jason Momoa. As everyone said, everything they wanted to about Destroyer. Yeah.
I was just going to say, just for saying it, to finish out the contract, instead of Conan, we got Red Sonja. That was his 3-picture deal.
We'll mention that after the remake.
Yeah, the whole other thing. But that just finishes out the Arnold. You know, that's why we didn't get a third one.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just mention Red Sonja now. So yeah, Red Sonja is not great. It's all right. It has its moments. It's Arnie that makes it good. Bridget Nielsen's terrible in it.
I like her. I still like. I don't care.
She's still wooden with her delivery.
I like the kid. I like the kid. You know, that's
Ernie Reyes.
That's Ernie Reyes
or whatever.
I found him kind of annoying, but anyway. I don't know. I only watched it for the first time a few years ago. So like I never watched it growing up. Yeah. So when I watched it as an adult for the first time, and then I was like, So it never like captured.
Yeah, that kid love. Again, it was one of those things that you were allowed to watch it. It was sword and sandal without, you know, the water serpent was mechanical, you know, so it was not nearly Dagoth or
that was a cool
scene. I love it. It still works, you know, take the gem out of it and stuff. But yeah, no, I like it. And that's all we have to really talk about with Red Sonja. Is just
Sandal Bergman is the villain as well. Yeah. So Valeria
she's the villainess. Awesome. Yes.
I mean, I liked it. I watched it as a kid. I had it on VHS.
Same.
I couldn't find a shirt of it. So what I did was I actually took the cover to a shirt place and they scanned the cover and made it into a shirt just so I could have a Red Sonja shirt. Because that's who I am.
That's that is true, man. Yeah.
My dad, for his birthday one year, I have no idea why, he just went, I'm gonna go. He was like looking through VHSs. He comes back with this stack, and it was Hunt for Red October, Red Heat, Red Scorpion, Red Sonja. If it had red in the name, he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get these. You know, it was all action movies, but I was just, and mostly Arnold, which is kind of like, yeah, it was just like, so I will always remember that, you know, that's how I first saw you, like Red Scorpion, but I had, you know, Red Sonja and all those things because we got the dad's red movement, I guess, when he hit a certain age, but it was cool.
So on to the remake then with Jason Momoa. Now this was a flop, got terrible reviews, and everybody hates it. And I have never understood why. I watched it the other night and I was like, I'm sorry, this is a fucking awesome movie. It's like constant action, violence, nudity,
one-liners.
The Dweller, I think it's called, the big snake thing, the protector, and I love that whole scene. I actually love Jason Momoa as Conan as well. I thought he did his own thing with it, but he still felt very much like a barbarian. Like, I love the way he was like, "Woman, come here." And you know, we're not going to see another Conan movie now. Like, you know, there's no way they're going to allow that. You're not going to have like a white male guy bossing women around. That's just not going to be allowed to happen now.
And boobs.
Yeah, it sucks. But anyway, but yeah, this is a fun movie, and you got Ron Perlman playing his dad, which is awesome.
I love it. I love the whole intro to that thing. That whole like him as a kid doing the test.
The way he's like giving birth, and just like you see the view from inside his mother.
Yeah, that was a little weird. That was a little much, but you know,
we didn't need that. Yeah,
no, we didn't need that. But when he like takes on those like, you know, tribesmen and stuff that are hunting the kids, I just love that, man. I was just like, it's just badass.
The thing is, yeah, but the thing is, which doesn't get enough credit, is that the visual effects are amazing. Like the scene where he's fighting the guys made of dust or sand or whatever, and those look amazing. I was like, is that CG or is it people? And like, it's that good.
But it's mixed with CG for a little bit, but
blended well.
So good. And you go, Stephen Lang is a villain. He's fine. I think he's one of the weaker links. He's no Thulsa Doom.
No.
No,
he's okay.
Yeah. There was just so many, but I think it works because there's a lot of bad guys in this one. You know, all of his like henchmen that are underneath him. You know, it is Rose McGowan is his daughter.
Cool. Yeah,
I mean, I love the little girl. Damn, she looked just like what they make her out to be later.
Yeah.
I liked how they did that one.
Yeah.
I also like that it was more pirate Conan than the other. Like just wandering the desert Conan we ever saw in the movies. I like that they touched more on the pirate end of it. Yeah, I like that.
The thing is, like, the violence of this one is like so mean-spirited as well. Like the guy when he cuts the guy's nose off, and then you see him like digging the fingers into the nose.
He sticks it in there. It's like, oh my god!
I always wince at that scene. I'm like, oh no, I can't watch that. But I really enjoy that, and
he launches the dude in the catapult, which I still laugh my ass off every time. I was like, that's funny as hell.
Like that whole like ship thing. I like how you never see the elephants. You just sort of see a little bit of them dragging the thing along, but you hear them and everything. And I just love that whole idea of it. Loads of action. Like I think it's funny. Like as soon as like someone falls over, there's blood. It's like, it's just like there's almost like a hilarious comical amount of blood.
Yes.
Or it's just cartoonish. But I get no real complaints about this. The only thing is, I'm sure J-Man will agree with this, there's barely any mention of Crom in it.
There's no Crom. I don't think he says Crom.
There's like a mention of Crom once earlier, but I don't think it's even him. But there's none of that to it.
Ron Perlman says by Crom. Boy.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So he never mentioned it. So it doesn't have that same like poetry of Conan the Barbarian. But I'm not going to say this is a bad film because it's not. I really enjoy it. It's good fun. Easy to watch.
This is like a super faster pace even of Destroyer.
Yeah.
But just this spectacle. Because I mean, right around this time, we'd already been seeing movies like 300, a lot of these like, big action flicks that were actually getting released to theaters. There was a point when action movies were kind of badass when they were getting into theaters, and Conan just slid right in there with, a name behind it. It should have done better. This isn't like I don't know. This isn't like a John Carter situation where no one knew what John Carter was. Like everyone should have at least known what Conan was. And it gave us sorcery, blood, boobs, swords, just this all uber violence. What is not to love about that movie? I watched this in theaters and I love the hell out of it. I actually liked the story of putting the headpiece together to resurrect his dead wife, and she would be like this demon that would possess him and they would rule the world. I was like, I love this. I think it fits a Conan-esque story. I think just too many people just weren't ready for it, or they just didn't want it. That's me. I wanted it. I will always take, a Conan. And Jason Momoa, man, he fucking kills this movie.
Yeah.
He before we get
believable in it. Yeah.
He's totally believable. He's still this barbarian. He is still like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit kind of character that he's kind of gotten away from. Now he's more of the, good looking guy, but he's smart ass, burly, but when he was doing like the Conan stuff, it was like, I believed him as that. I really feel like he could pick you up with one hand and crush your throat, that type of feel. To me, this one just screams Conan, and I'll watch it all the time. I think it's totally enjoyable.
Good score as well.
Yes,
I love the music.
This one easily could have gone like play the more modern music, like heavy metal, which would have been fine. Kind of do. Well, I don't know. I like Call the Conqueror.
I love Call the Conqueror. I love the soundtrack.
I love it.
It's great, but that's good for Call, but not for Conan.
But that's what you would have expected them to do though with this type of thing. But they didn't. They actually scored this, and it still feels Conan, but its own. I really did enjoy how this movie sounded, looked.
It looks more like a fantasy world as well. Like you get some great visuals and everything in the backgrounds, the castles and all that.
Well, they could do a lot more, so it's like, why not? I mean, they're on the seaside a lot more, so you get a lot of this vast openness going on. The final battle's like somewhat underground on these like thin like bridges and stuff like that. I mean, it just worked, man. I don't understand the hate for it. You know, maybe a Conan purist, but we have the Conan purist here, and he loves.
Let's hear what he thinks. Go.
So this is a more extreme example of fake anger. This is effing not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is my hero. When he eventually passes away, it's not going to be a great day.
That will be devastating.
I'm already getting upset just that I even said that. I shouldn't have said that.
Shush. We've lost too many lately. Stop it.
I love the strongman, like the Arnold Open, all that stuff. Anyways, whatever, sports festival, all that. But look, Jason Momoa is actually the Robert E. Howard Conan in the appearance wise, somewhat in action. He's got to be leaner. He's a pirate and a thief. He's not the largest man on earth. Jason Momoa is the visual representation of what I believe is the real Conan. I wish they would have done more movies. The downfall of this movie, I did not like it in the theaters. 2 reasons, nothing to do with the movie, but it was in 3D. And it was the crap 3D before they started to get better with 3D. And the 3D was awful as shit. And it was so dark. This is like, remember we were talking about Violent Night being dark. I could not.
Here we go again.
I could not see
maybe our cinemas in Canada are just shite. Maybe we need
that's what I'm starting to think.
Well, this was an AMC, so I don't want not to be rude. But
they're going out of business anyway.
Yeah, be rude. It's fine.
It was an AMC. No, but and I think I knew Sean and Steve and all that. So we're like, I couldn't see it. We all hate it. We're like, I couldn't see any of this movie. This is bad. So I bought it on Blu-ray anyways because I buy everything. Then I rewatched it. I was like, wow. And now this is back on maybe my 40-inch TV. Now I've got a 65-inch. It's like a 40-inch TV with no surround sound. I was like, wow, this is a beautiful movie. And they really effed this up with the 3D. It does come with a 3D Blu-ray, which I would never play in my life. It's so shit. The regular movie's amazing. The problem is that this is a betweener movie. It doesn't have any of the philosophy or whatever of Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
But it's more serious and badass than Destroyer. So it's kind of in between these two movies where it's like, if you want to just watch a faster paced Conan and you don't want to have too much like thinking about it, this is almost the perfect one to watch, really. I also watch Destroyer, but this is the one to watch.
Yeah.
My negatives on this movie are different negatives than the people's fake rage. People's fake rage is it's on Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so the fake rage is it's on Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you guys don't like Conan the Destroyer. Right. So what are you raging about? Well, it's not as good as Conan the Barbarian. Right. I agree with that. It's not as good as Conan the Barbarian. But Conan the Barbarian is not Robert E. Howard's vision exactly. This is even closer because Conan looks right. Conan is actually a lot smarter than Schwarzenegger's Conan is. He is more crafty. He did learn to be smart at the end of Barbarian, but he should have already been. Now it's an origin movie, so it's that whole thing. But by Destroyer, he's back to being kind of goofy again. You're like, well, this isn't really. Why is he so goofy? Like Jason Momoa was not goofy. He drinks and stuff, but he knows what he's doing. He's you never think that, oh, this guy's gonna be a goof and mess something up. He's pretty solid. The storyline is just too basic, and we already saw Hellboy 2, which is literally the same story. Put the crown together. Like I literally just saw this.
So it is.
And I'm like,
okay, fair.
Right. This is my problem. I'm saying the J-Man problem. Right. The J-Man problems are real problems, not fake rage problems. Schwarzenegger. It's like, guys, shut your mouth. It's like I'm like the Conan guy. He looks like Conan. You look at the Dark Horse books, the comics. It's the Jason Momoa Conan. Jason Momoa is visually Conan, man. Conan should not be so huge. Schwarzenegger is too big to be a thief, right? Like he's got
there has to be some stealth and some cunning and all this other things that he needs. Yeah.
But the thing is that Conan Barbarian is such a superior film that it's hard to follow that up. But I accepted Jason Momoa. His name's Jason, so that's good, and that's my name.
Say what?
What?
Your name's not J-Man?
No, it didn't. No.
The lies.
But yeah, I accepted him. I thought he looked good. I thought this movie was shot amazing. Good fights. I could see all the fights. Even when it was the crappy 3D, I could still see the fights. Not so fast. I don't know. I really thought this movie was pretty awesome. The girls were good looking, right? I thought Rose McGowan was like friggin' pretty awesome. She's one
of her best roles. Yeah.
That is one of her. That is her best role, really.
Yeah.
The villain, you're going up against firstly a monster, and then the other person you're facing is James Earl Jones. So it's a no-win situation. You cannot win this battle. So I had to forget that villain. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna think too much. He's just a bad guy. But everything else is good. The story is very simple, and just there's too many things. It's like there's so many locations. They're all amazing, but you start to forget. It's like, where were they again? Like, just give me 2 or 3 really epic ones and stay there longer. Like, I would have liked to see more on the boat. They never did the pirate stuff, and he is a pirate. So leave him on the boat for a while. Maybe have a few scenes.
That would have been cool. Other than just the wardrobe change is literally all we get from the boat scene in that.
Right. And he stands there, he's like, oh, he talks. He's like, I'm with you, Conan. Oh, okay, that's great. I'm like, that's your scene on this boat. Like, I think they spent a lot of money to bring this boat to life. And you're like, it's like 1 minute dialogue sequence, and then it moves on. I'm like, no, that's not long enough. We need to have more.
I think it would work better as a TV show, maybe a Game of Thrones style TV
show. Oh, I would have been down for that. I totally would have been down.
Well, we had that one TV show, but it didn't.
No, I love Ralph Moeller, but come on.
He's awesome.
And Matthias Hughes is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there. This movie, they should have done more. It actually, if you want to really be heartbroken, watch the making of, because everybody, Marcus Nispel, all these guys, everybody that worked on this was so excited.
So passionate.
Jason Momoa.
How would you not be?
Yeah, they're like, Jason Momoa's like, I want to cut. He goes, I can't wait for the next one. And you're like, fuck. Like, it didn't happen. It's really, I would take Jason Momoa now.
Yeah.
Like, here's my thing. Please, if somebody somehow sees this, okay, make King Conan. If you don't want to make it, then fuck off. Stop it. Stop tweeting this shit out and all. If it's not happening, then don't make it. Why don't you take Jason Momoa and let's try another shot at it? I can't think of anyone else right now who could do it. Jason's not going to do it now because he's going to cost too much, and now he's Aquaman. Yeah. They F this entire thing up. I think Marcus Nispel, he's done other movies that I've liked. Did he do Pathfinder? Because I like that movie a lot too.
Yes. That's very good Pathfinder feels to it.
I think he directed Pathfinder. Or something around.
And he didn't he do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake?
He did, right, which is visually amazing. Yeah. See, this Marcus Nispel has been dealt the worst hand of cards of all time. It's like, remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a bloody masterpiece of horror. It's like, okay, it'll look amazing. Yeah, it looks great. Everything's good, but it's a remake of Texas. So here comes the fake hatred.
Yeah.
So my hatred on that movie is that you didn't have any cannibalism scenes. It's like, that's the point of it.
Yeah, he did do Pathfinder, so that's definitely
Pathfinder's awesome.
I love that movie.
I have the extended cut of it. It's good.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. It's Carl Urban, so I'll watch Carl Urban movie. Yeah.
I like this movie. There's fake hatred for it, which is a lot. The fake, I said the Godzilla fake hatred. I don't like dub movies. I'm sorry. Were you a 10-year-old kid watching subtitled films? Like, right? You're a 10-year-old kid watching Godzilla. Like, this is the best.
I'm watching
thing ever.
Giant monsters fight each other. That's exactly.
That's
maybe if anything, the original Godzilla maybe didn't latch on to me as early on as others did, but it's when they started like, let's make him versus something.
The 3-headed monsters, the big one, where you have then
when I'm older, I can go back and go, oh yeah, the original Godzilla is badass. When you realize that it's kind of like the Conan the Barbarian. There's a story to it. There's other subtext to this movie. So just give me fighting giant monsters. What is wrong with you people? I just want fight giant monsters. Period.
Yeah, it's like fake hatred. Oh, Conan the Barbarian, this is shit. Jason Momoa is not the real Conan. He's too small. Have you read any books or comics? Like, what are you talking about? Like, Conan the Barbarian, Schwarzenegger, 82 is a masterpiece of films. It's my favorite movie of all time. Conan Momoa is not anywhere in my top 30 or something, right? But like, I still think it's an awesome movie.
Yeah.
People getting pissed off at it is super irritating because it's like, what are you getting pissed off at? Are you getting pissed off that you're not seeing more of him being a pirate? Because nobody says that. That's my thing. Yeah. I want to see longer scenes with him doing stuff. Most people say it's not Schwarzenegger, and maybe they said the 3D sucked, which it did suck. Unfortunately, that.
I was trying to remember if I watched it in 3D or if I watched it in 2D. Usually had the options.
It was just 2D for me. I'm not a huge 3D guy. The only good 3D I've seen is actually Avatar and Tron Legacy that I can think of. I don't really think it too much.
Well, it's like you would see if you like you're saying, like this one was probably bad, and you realize I don't want to spend all that extra money just to see it in 3D, and it might not be good. So I think I only did this one in 2D. It's also like, why the hell do I need to see Conan in 3D?
Yeah, it's 3D.
Yeah.
Well, it's best for like fantasy, for like sci-fi things or whatever. You're gonna
so a lot of like layers or space and shit like that.
Layers is what you need. Yeah,
exactly. So Conan didn't really need that.
This movie on a 65 4K TV and surround sound is pretty damn awesome.
Yep.
Like I watched it last night, and I was like, wow. Like I
forget how good it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's like I remember thinking it was cool when I rewatched it. I thought, oh, this is actually a really good, cool movie. I don't know why I didn't like it. And I remember the 3D, and then I kind of put it away. And then I was like, let me rewatch it again. This is the third time I've seen it only. And I was like, wow.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is because I go to Conan Destroyer. If I just need to have something on, I put Destroyer on.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's the easiest Conan movie to watch. There's something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's an interesting one before we finish up. What are your fave Conan ripoffs? Beastmaster, blame it. Beastmaster's great.
Beastmaster.
Deathstalker.
That was one of the ones I could watch early. Yeah. See, I wasn't allowed to watch the Deathstalkers, but Beastmaster was on TBS all the time to where we called it the Beastmaster Station. TBS. And all it was played on HBO so much it was, hey, Beastmaster's on. That was HBO. No, Beastmaster by far will be. I'll throw that one on before Conan. I'll be honest. I will throw that one on.
The Deathstalker movies are awesome because like they kind of just get cheaper as they go on, and they keep reusing footage from the previous movies.
We don't have J-Man's clip for Deathstalker 2.
Oh. I'll have my revenge.
Yeah, I'll have my revenge. They say the name of the movie.
I love like the pig warrior thing, and you keep seeing him like show up, and it's the same shot and like the
same one.
No, 1 and 4 are the same movie. 4,
pretty much.
Tournament of Titans or whatever, or the Titans or whatever. And that one changed. Your favorite is why is this 3D moment in The Great Gatsby 3D? Yes, I got that on Blu-ray, Sean. I don't know why that is 3D either. That's a weird one.
Yeah. Those poor dinos. Yeah.
I've still never seen Yor. I need to watch Yor.
You really need to. Make that part of your get-together day. Throw Yor on as well.
You do Yor and Warlords of Atlantis. Maybe got ourselves a day.
That would be amazing. Hell yeah.
That sounds pretty perfect. I'm trying to think what other ones there are.
I mean, we're going to be doing a versus on those.
Yeah,
Sword and Sorcerer. Sword and Sorcerer was that at the same time as Barbarian?
Sure, they're all ripoffs.
Right around there. I mean, you got Sword and Sorcerer. You had what was it? The one with David Carradine.
Blade Master is what I think that was.
Well, there's Blade. Is that Blade Master? I thought it was something. Sorcerer.
Oh no, it's the Warrior and the Princess or something.
Warrior and the Sorcerer.
Warrior and Princess. I remember that one. Yeah.
You had that. Then you had She, which was Sandra Bergman.
I haven't seen that either. I've never seen that.
She.
Damn. There's.
Oh, the abuse. You're kidding.
Reb Brown likes, saves, and reshares and retweets everything I do for yours. So there you go.
Oh, well, that's
Charlie can confirm.
Oh, I totally confirm. I'm friends with him too. And it's like all of a sudden I'll see like J-Man will share something and I see it and then I'm like, why am I seeing this again? And I'll see Reb Brown. I was like, hell yeah, share that shit, man.
Oh yeah, the Barbarian Brothers, or just the Barbarians, I think it's called, isn't it?
The Barbarians with the Barbarian Brothers. God, that one's so fun. That's when you just want silly, goofy fun in a Barbarian movie.
They also did that movie Double Trouble, which is a riot as well. I have a Sumi article.
That's on Tubi right now.
I love Double Trouble.
And they did Twin Sitters, where they're the babysitters. Dear God.
Genius.
You've not lived until you've watched that masterpiece of filmmaking right there.
Oh my God, it's good stuff.
Oh, let's see. That King Conan, Crown of Iron Script is apparently awesome from reviews, been around Hollywood for over 20 years, and yet we haven't got it. But yeah, let's get another Transformers movie or something. You said,
sure.
I've never seen
I'll
go to watch. It's good. Oh yeah, Azor the Fighting Eagle.
Yeah, Ator.
Ator.
Oh, Ator.
Yeah, there's like 4 Ator movies, but Miles O'Keefe is only Ator in 3 of the 4.
Yep.
Which I didn't even know the 4th one was an Ator movie or whatever. But anyway,
Miles O'Keefe was a good villain. You know, in these like 80s and 90s movies, I remember him in a whole bunch of movies.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. So, well, there we go, 9:30. So
Perfect.
I think that pretty much wraps up. Does anybody have anything Conan related they want to say before we wrap up? No?
I will not pray to you. I have no tongue for it.
Yeah.
Well, so next week, I'm not going to confirm next week just yet because I think I have a work party. I'm not sure. It might be Tuesday. I need to double check. In fact, I think it is Tuesday. So we should be okay. But next Wednesday, we're going to rank the Die Hard villains. So that should be an interesting one.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, so we'll do that. And then I need to, what dates is it?
What are the dates? So I may not be there for the I've seen all the Die Hard movies, but not in 100 years, and I only like 1 and 2. So I can come on and give my 2 cents on the villains I know, but
you just Wikipedia it, man.
Yeah, just
I think the 14th is next Wednesday.
Yeah, so that one is a Die Hard one, and then the week after, because I'm away in the 28th, so the 21st we'll do 2022 the year in action, and we'll go over the best worst of this year, and then that will be the last one until January when I'm back.
Yep, I'll be out of town too on the 28th, so that works out.
Okay, that works out.
Yeah,
Hawk the Slayer, of course, is another.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Hawk the Slayer, Silly String of Doom. God, I love that movie. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Hell yeah, Conan.
Conan O'Brien would be a good Red Son. Yeah.
No.
You and me. All right, we'll wrap it up there. I think we're all Conan out for one night. So,
Jamie's like, no, Conan is live.
Keep going.
Only because I have a super early day. I always have because I have to get up early for my job, so that's the only reason.
What time do you get up early?
I usually get up around like 6, maybe sometimes a bit earlier if it's
Yeah, that's what I mean. I get up at 5:30, 6.
5:30, yeah. So that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's life. That's what's best in life.
Yeah, that's not best in life. No.
I have DC Cab the movie, and I have the DC Cab poster, original theatrical DC Cab poster of Mr. T ripping off the
fool.
I love me some Mr. T.
Anyway.
Anyway, we'll finish up there. So thanks for joining us, guys, as always. And so we'll see you for Die Hard next week. And if you are watching, remember, you are the action lead.